city of Mumbai owes its existence to the port. From the 18th and 19th century, all activities in Mumbai were centered around the port. In the 20th century, the second half, the kind of development in the marine industry made the ships bigger, and so they could not come and berth in Mumbai. And at the same time, the Nhava Sheva port was conceived, and the approvals given by the Government of India for the Nhava Sheva port, which is now called the Jawaharlal Nehru port, said that with the establishment of that new port, the non-operational areas of Mumbai port should be given to the city for recreation and greening. This was one of the directives of the late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1980, and this was government order in 1988, which is binding on the Port of Mumbai. However, this directive was not implemented, and the Mumbai port has continued to try and extend its cargo activities. We feel that the petroleum cargo which is coming to Jawahar Dweep, that is being fed to the two refineries in Mumbai by undersea pipelines, and it doesn't affect the traffic and other congestion in Mumbai. However, the dry cargo port, which is the Indira Docks, Victoria Dock and Princess Dock, these three docks, the evacuation has to be by rail or road. The rail connectivity from the port is affected because the suburban railway system is a north-south busy railway, and therefore the rakes from the port can cross over to the main trunk routes of the rail only at night, and you can only have perhaps 2 or 3 trains at night. So therefore there is a big restriction of the Mumbai port evacuating by its cargo by rail. So that brings it to the roads. Now, evacuating the cargo by road from Mumbai port will cause huge amount of congestion in Mumbai city itself. And not only Mumbai city, but also the suburbs. Now, because of this, we opposed the establishment of a new container terminal in Mumbai port. When this came to light, we formed a small forum called the Mumbai Docklands Regeneration Forum. We appealed to the administrative authorities, we appealed to the Minister of Shipping, the Mumbai Port Trust Chairman, the Minister of Environment, that the new container terminal would not be in the interest of Mumbai. They all agreed with us privately, but since the project had already got approvals, and the more we objected, the faster the approvals came. And eventually it was a 1,000 crore project approved by the Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs. And we said that there were several reasons for not having that container terminal. Any one of those reasons was adequate to cancel the project. Firstly, the size of ships has increased. With the larger ships require a draft of 19 meters or at least 16 meters. So the draft is not available in Mumbai. If you were to create the draft artificially by dredging, the resiltation would be rapid and the cost of continuing to maintain that would be so high that the port would be uneconomical. Secondly, even if you were to achieve the dredge depths, there is no land available for the various container freight stations, inland container depots, etc. within Mumbai, the island city. Now, if you look at the JNPT, which is now a thriving container port, they've already got a traffic of 4 million what are called TEUs, that is a 20-foot container equivalent. You can take roughly 1 TEU is equal to very roughly 20 tons. So they have got a 4 million TEU port. Now with that they have got a huge area backing them of 2,500 hectares. So that is available for parking of trucks, for waiting trucks, waiting for cargo, for waiting for evacuation and so on. And if you go to JNPT today, you will see more than 10,000 trucks on the roads leading to the JNPT. Now this kind of space is not available in Mumbai. And you cannot compare a container terminal of Mumbai with that of Singapore and Hong Kong, etc., which are entrepôt-ports. They are quite often only handling containers, they are not delivering the containers to the hinterland in many cases. So therefore, here also our customs regulations are such that what's called the dwell time of a container, if you were to take in the port and the container freight station, time allowed for the customs clearance, inspections, dispute resolutions, insurance claims, all these, they require much more time in India than in Singapore or Hong Kong or Rotterdam and Colombo, etc. So therefore, it became, the container terminal in Mumbai port is unviable. Now when we appealed to the Ministry of Shipping, Ministry of Environment, Bombay Port Trust, none of them agreed to cancel the container terminal. So two of us from our forum, that is Mr. D.M. Sukhtankar, who was the former Chief Secretary and former Municipal Commissioner, and myself, we filed a PIL in the Bombay High Court. We got a very patient hearing from the courts, and the courts directed the Mumbai port to reconsider this project. The Mumbai port in its wisdom reconsidered it and decided to continue with it. Now, because of the natural impediments in this, they have not even been able to complete the first step in creating a container terminal, which is to do the dredging. They have already spent 380 crores, this is big money, on the dredging activity. The company which was given this contract went bankrupt trying to achieve this depth. They were paid the full amount of money of 380 crores, but not even half the work was done. The balance work, the quotation is for over 200 crores, and luckily for us, the central government has refused or has not yet sanctioned this money. In the meantime, the new government, to their credit, has decided to have a fresh look at the eastern waterfront. Now this was also brought into the political mainstream by Meera Sanyal in the Lok Sabha elections campaign in 2014. She took up this issue of the redevelopment or regeneration of the portlands in accordance with the directive of the Government of India in 1988, and to face the realities. In now over 1,000 acres of land in the Sivri, Railroad, Cotton Green areas were leased to private industrial companies in the 1920s. They were given a lease for 60 years and industries were set up. Hindustan Lever, those days Unilever, set up a soap factory. Tata Oil Mills set up a soap factory. There was an American company called Bridgestone which set up a tire factory. There were several other factories set up, and in the early 70s, the collapse of the textile mill industry affected the entire industrial environment in Bombay. All manufacturing industries migrated to the upcountry locations like Ahmednagar, Nasik, and various other industrial townships around Pune. And these were found to be more economical and better suited for industrial production and manufacturing industries. With this, the entire Sivri, Cotton Green, Railroad area, all activity came to an end, and especially the cotton godowns and the cotton supply industry, all that disappeared. Now, tragically, the leaseholders of this land were of the view that they could hang on to the land, thinking that they would make windfall profits from their leases. Now, the land belongs to the government. There is a very, very clear title, which is across, because it was reclaimed land in the 1880s, and the land was originally belonging to the government. It was not acquired land, land was created from the eastern waterfront. The land is being vested in a public trust. The Mumbai Port Trust is a public trust. And it was well protected during the entire 19th and early 20th century. Until 1970, there was no encroachment there. It was industrially productive, and when it declined, people lost interest, and the Mumbai Porters decided not to renew the leases. But they did not repossess the land in most cases. Many of the leaseholders decided to go to court, and they have by various means obtained stay orders for them to retain the leases. Now I am drawing a distinction between the port trust land given to the lessees in, for example, Ballard Estate. It is still in use. Colaba, all the area east of Colaba Causeway. Colaba Causeway is actually a causeway where the sea lapped it. Now east of that was all reclaimed land belonging to the port, and that is used for residential purposes, and now that must continue. Those leases for residential areas would be renewed and so on. So that that's not what we are talking about. What the area under consideration is the industrial plots north of Mazagon Dock area, which is of no productive use at this point of time. all the factories are closed. It is being completely left derelict. It is being misused by even the port trust itself, being used as a coal dump yard. From 2010 onwards, there is an average of 1.8 million tons of coal being brought into the Hay Bandar, Haji Bandar area, and this coal is intended for the Maharashtra generating company Maj & Co at Bhusawal. Now it is bizarre that coal is dumped inside a city for a plant which is 400 kilometers away, when there are other ports which are nearer to that plant. For example, Hazira, Surat is 100 kilometers shorter distance than from Mumbai. Now this coal is being unloaded from barges using excavators, which I cannot understand how anybody can allow excavators which are very, very polluting and creating a huge amount of dust inside a city of 20 million people. It is inside the city. And to my knowledge, nowhere else in the world is it allowed to unload coal in a population center using excavators. What we require is either a grab or a screw conveyor which will transfer the coal from the barge to a belt conveyor which is enclosed and with dust collector systems, and it should go directly into the user industry, which is, for example, we don't have to go very far. In Trombay, the Tata Power Company has a coal unloading system which is dust free. If you go to Ennore, they unload coal at 4,000 tons per hour through a conveyor system. Now in Bombay, it is not a temporary measure, it has been last 4 years it has been going on. And if you were to look at the satellite map of Mumbai, you can see that today that area is black. And if you use the timeline in Google and drag that cursor back to 2010, the same area turns green. And therefore, we have opposed the unloading of coal in Mumbai. And in this, under the leadership of Meera Sanyal, we have tried to get the public awareness of this situation. And when all our demonstrations with the authorities had no effect, we filed a public interest litigation, and we were fortunate to be heard by the Chief Justice in September 2014. Now he has directed the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board to consider our memo as a representation, and we are now awaiting a date for a hearing from the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board to end this disastrous way of unloading coal. The dust has affected the population of Sivri East. It has caused huge problems for the health in that area. There's cases of asthma, bronchitis, and worse diseases called pneumonocosis, and the health of that citizens has been completely ignored, due to the effect of this coal. Now, the other polluting industry in that area is at Darukhana, which is shipbreaking. Now, shipbreaking is a legitimate industry in this country. We have got certain advantages of having low-cost labor, good tides, and the good kind of seashore which is suitable for shipbreaking. Now, shipbreaking is a recycling industry. It is environment friendly if done properly. Now, in Alang, with the inputs from the Supreme Court and the Ministry of Steel, Ministry of Environment, they have got their act together to do shipbreaking in a reasonably and environment friendly way. It is well regulated by the Gujarat Maritime Board and the Ministry of Environment, and it is producing 2 million tons of steel without using large amount of energy or coal or limestone and other natural resources which are normally associated with the steel industry. Alang has some natural factors which make it an ideal situation for shipbreaking. First of all, there is a 11-meter tide. There is a long coastline which is away from a population center. It has got a nice slope to the beach, and with these factors you can take very large ships of over 150,000 tons and beach them, and they can be broken. And with the new guidelines for safety of the workers and proper inspection of the ships to make them gas free, checking all the tanks for making sure it is not used as a dump yard for either oil sludge or other polluting items, and if they are there, there are rules now of how to tackle asbestos, sludge, and in an environment friendly way. Now, these factors are not available in Mumbai. First of all, the land available is very, very limited, and that land and that waterfront is more useful for the recreation of the citizens of Mumbai. Central Mumbai has very, very little recreation space. It's got one of the worst ratios of the open spaces to number of residents. If you are in central Mumbai, you got Chowpatty and you got Marine Drive, what else do you have? Very, very little. So therefore, the eastern waterfront, we feel, should be made into promenades, water sports centers, education hubs, sports city, and also training centers which can use the waterfront for marine training, Sea Cadet Corps, cadets, the NCC, Sea Wing, Naval Wing. All these activities should be there on the eastern waterfront, and also the watermanship, the use of the harbour as an open space requires infrastructure. It requires a marina for boats. The citizens of Mumbai must go out into the open using boats, and this should be a natural recreation for the youth of Mumbai. They should go sailing, rowing, they should be doing parasailing, they should be swimming. The water should be clean enough for people to swim and spend time on the water. None of these is possible on the eastern waterfront because there is no infrastructure, there is polluted water, the water is polluted with coal, with oil sludge, there is very little swimming possible. You would be affecting your health if you were to fall into the water or in the port of Mumbai. So all these should be corrected, and for this Meera Sanyal has led the movement called Aapli Mumbai. It is a port lands initiative. Now this, we got the idea to bring together certain young companies of urban planners They're like Studio Pod and the Urban Vision, and many other young architects, urban planners have been brought together into this Aapli Mumbai movement. First, we got together and put up a document which we submitted to the Rani Jadhav committee. We must give credit to the central government for appointing a committee to look into the development of the portlands. So we submitted a document to the Rani Jadhav committee. We created awareness by having a hackathon in Sivri, where we invited architects, urban planners, citizens, activists, Yuva as well, to come and brainstorm as to how we could develop the portlands. We also had picnics in that area, and we showed people how next to the coal dump there is a football field. Now how can you play football in a ground covered with coal? So these we did. Then we had an exhibition at Kalagoda. We also put the exhibition panels on Chhatrapati Shivaji terminus. And finally we invited the architects, urban planners to a conference. The conference was hosted by the Indian Merchants Chamber, the Urban Development Committee, of which Meera Sanyal is the chairman, is the chairperson. She organized this conference, and we had partners from the Graduate School of Architecture, Planning and Preservation of Columbia University, and its Mumbai agency is called Studio X. Now all these were brought together into a conference on the 29th of November. There we had presentations from world-renowned professors. Professor Geeta Mehta and Professor Kate Asher and Meera Sanyal gave the Aapli presentation. And we also invited thought leaders like Mr. Ruben Abraham, Mr. Daryl De Monte, Bachi Karkaria, and Manjeet Kripalani. All these people, we invited them to chair the workshops, which debated 5 main topics: urban planning, transport planning, how the stakeholders can be involved, how to preserve the historical areas, and finally what should be the legal and legislative framework to redevelop the portlands. Now this workshop was chaired by Mr. Anand Desai, who is a legal luminary in Mumbai. Now at the end of this conference, we have now produced a document, which is this document. It says, "Let's look east." So far the western waterfront in Mumbai has had some development in Bandra and Juhu and the Chowpatty. Now the eastern waterfront has been totally neglected. So it said, let's look east. Let us make Sivri into a nature park. Let us have a flamingo gallery, a gallery for viewing flamingos. There is the Sivri Fort, which is a historical site. Let us make that into a tourist hub. Let us have an international tourist hub at Sivri, where we can have all the cuisines of Mumbai. Now, where can you have Koli cuisine? Where can you have Balwani cuisine in Mumbai? Are there places? Why don't we showcase them? What about the Baida parathas you get in Bhindi Bazaar? What about the vada pavs? What about the masala dosas of the Udupi restaurants? Should they not be available in a clean, hygienic way to the people of Mumbai? What about usul? What about, where can you have these cuisines? We have got a rich Konkani cuisine, we've got the Saraswas, we've got so many cuisines here, that just one single point like that, should not Mumbai be known for its cuisine? And how we bring all these cuisines together? I'm just giving one example. Now, is not Sivri a place where all this can happen, which can become an international tourist hub? Should not Cotton Green, now we have suggested that the BRICS headquarters, the BRICS Bank has gone to Shanghai. Should not the BRICS headquarters come to Mumbai? What do you require for BRICS headquarters? You want something which is central to these BRICS, meaning the Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. These are the BRICS countries. Now we are centrally located. Within 8 hours we can reach any of these countries except Brazil. Now we have suggested the BRICS headquarters there in Cotton Green, instead of having derelict, empty go-downs without roofs, which are totally neglected. And it is in the prime center of Mumbai. Is it not total misgovernance to have 1,000 acres in the middle of a city which is land-starved, utterly unutilized? In which other country would this happen? So therefore, we are suggesting that a strong initiative should be taken by the central government to redevelop the Mumbai portlands, these 1,000 acres, and we must get our act together, because moment we talk of Mumbai, there are 17 different agencies talking about it. The railways, which are the suburban railway, is the lifeline of Mumbai. Nobody in Mumbai has authority over it. It is controlled from the railway board in New Delhi. The MMRDA controls areas which are not yet handed over to the municipal corporation. Now, Cuff Parade, which is one of the waterfronts of Mumbai, is still considered a special planning area. And the Mumbai Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai has no responsibility for the development of Cuff Parade. Now, okay, it is alright for 6 months, 1 year, but this is for 40 years. Cuff Parade was developed in 1970. And look at this situation now, where the development plan of the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai, it is a huge exercise, has it's a blind spot in Cuff Parade. And similarly, the Portlands, which has got 1,800 acres, is a black spot as far as the Municipal Corporation is concerned. There is a wall east of P00 Road, which I don't know how many people in Mumbai are allowed to go through it and see the other side. And they are discouraged with arrest if they were to go into that area. Now, is it not all a bizarre situation where half the waterfront of Mumbai is not available to the citizens of Mumbai? Now, all these have been brought to the center stage by the Aapli movement led by Meera Sanyal, and we feel that we deserve a good hearing. We want a voice, we want a platform to air our views, and we feel that the citizens of Mumbai must come forward and air their views of what they would like to have in the Portlands, these 1,000 acres. Now what we are saying is that when the mill lands was developed, it went entirely to the developers who felt that the maximum profits were available from luxury housing. Now luxury housing has become an investment opportunity for the rich. It has provided very little relief to the housing situation in Mumbai. It has created a huge bottleneck as far as infrastructure development is concerned. The additional housing which has been built in Lower Parel and Upper Worli, or whatever you call it, has imposed a load on the infrastructure, load on the parking situation, load on the traffic. Now to go from Ambedkar Road to Senapati Papat Marg, which is a difference of 500 meters, can take you half an hour because of the total neglect of the ground realities, while allowing the huge developments like in Jupiter Mills, Kamala Mills, United Mills. All these areas have got huge buildings which, without augmenting the water supply, the sewerage or the roads or the public transportation, you have put up these buildings. Now Bombay must be one of the few cities in the world where 50% of the sewage is not treated. And all that they could do was put the outfall further away into the sea. In Worli, they had to have World Bank project to just push it further away. Should not water treatment, sewage treatment plants be set up? Now these should be done in the new Portlands. We should have water harvesting. We have got 100 inches of rain a year, but still we don't save any of that water which falls on the island. If you take these 1,000 acres and 1,000 inches of rain on it, how many lakhs of acre feet of water do we have in the Portlands itself? Should we not at this point itself create a water harvesting situation? Now like this you can have hundreds of ideas, and these are all implementable today because the land belongs to the government. It is entirely possessed by the government. Only the leases have to be terminated, and for this what we are saying is that where the leases have already expired, the government should bring in legislation to overcome the earlier either legal or administrative or legislative hurdles. They should repossess the land because it belongs to the government. It cannot just give it away to private persons ad nauseum. So therefore the 1,000 acres should be repossessed. Now I'll give you some examples of the lessees. The Central Railway has some 40 or 50 hectares of land at Haji Bandar which they use for scrapping of passenger rail wagons. Is that Haji Bandar the place to scrap wagons? The Food Corporation of India was given land to administer the import of grain in the 1960s. They were given huge areas in railroad. Now, why are they still there when import of grain stopped 30 years ago? Now, if at all we are exporting grain now. Now, why should Food Corporation be still there? So, and similarly, petroleum industries were given stockyards in Sivri and Vadala because of the Second World War. Now, the Second World War was over 60 years ago. Now, what are they doing there? They have got tank farms there which are derelict. Should they not move away from city centre? After all, why should you have inflammable stocks of petroleum products inside a city? So all those should the central government can, with the stroke of a pen, move these to far better locations. And if you take 1,000 acres at 40 crores an acre, you got 40,000 crores worth of land unutilized. It is a travesty of logic, good sense, governance, whatever superlatives you can use. So therefore, I think it is now time for the citizens of Mumbai to raise their voice, and Aapli Mumbai wishes to provide them a voice and a platform. where their voice can be heard.